Hello, everyone, and welcome to What's the Tea with Gen X, Y, and Z. We are three generations, three perspectives, one cup of truth. So get ready for a refreshing take on hot button topics because we're going to be brewing up a steaming hot take on today's most pressing issues, for real today, where we're going to dish on everything from social justice to pop culture with humor, honesty, and maybe just even a little healthy debate. We're going to sip the tea, we're going to spill the honest truth, and we're going to find common ground across the generational gap. This show is informative, it's insightful, and it's guaranteed to stir the pot. So, I'm Dr. Melissa. I'm representing the exciting X Factor. And before I even go any further, you'll see my hands like this throughout the episode because I broke a nail, y'all. And I'm trying to be intentional. So don't think I'm not throwing up gang signs or anything like that, but I'm holding this nail because I'm cognizant of the fact that I am totally jacked up on this episode. Okay, so don't judge me, y'all. Don't judge me. But yeah, I'm not throwing up gang signs. I realized I was like, hey, this looks like a gang sign. Amen. I'm sorry. I'm Generation X.
All right.
Ooh, yeah, a great intro.
Mhm.
Amen.
Yeah.
I am Amber, holding it down for us millennials.
And I'm Zion, keeping it real for Generation Z.
All right, y'all. So glad I got that out of the way. Listen, y'all, I told y'all we're nothing if not authentic on this show. Okay, we don't have time to.
Fake the phone.
That's exactly We
Fake
don't have
the
time.
funk.
It takes a lot of effort,
Okay.
y'all. Listen,
No, I'm saying I like it.
Oh, I thought you was about to say I'm showing my age or something. You gave
Nah,
me that look.
it is
I'm
old
just saying
school.
I like it.
It is old school. You got that from your mama.
No,
You got that.
I didn't.
Your mama said that.
Funk a 80s thing, though. Yeah.
Yeah, psychedelic.
funk,
Yeah,
that's
Bootsy,
that's the 80s
Collins, Parliament,
I do remember Parliament.
flashlight.
I do remember Parliament.
Yeah.
I think that was something I came up with. I'm gonna give myself a
Her
little bit
mama.
of credit.
No, I said fake the funk when I was young. So I know she heard that from her mother. Her mother's a boomer. So she didn't come up. Millennials did not come up with fake the funk. I promise you it's something I used to say when I was young. And Amber wasn't even thought of.
I'm saying I'm that millennial that came up with it. I ain't even giving my own,
You didn't come up with it. You heard it from somewhere else.
I feel like I came up with it.
I promise you didn't. You didn't just wake up one day and say, fake the funk. I think I'm going to say that. No, you heard it. Amen. All right. Anyway, y'all. So, y'all, today, I got all of this stuff out that I wanted to say because today I'm going to be taking a back seat to this conversation and I guess relegating the wisdom to the younger ones at the table because today we're going to talk about TikTok.
Yay!
You know, see the excitement? And of course, for me, until a few years ago, TikTok was what happened on your clock or your watch. But
Oh, that was bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
that was bad.
Yeah. So today, y'all, we're going to talk about TikTok. It's a hot button topic. Okay.
Yeah. It really
people
is.
lost their mind this past week.
I was one of them.
Take it away. What's the deal with TikTok? First of all, what is TikTok for those that are Generation X that might be like, okay, yeah, TikTok,
Okay.
What's the big deal?
What
is it?
You want me to start this one or you want to start this one?
Go ahead, take it away.
Okay. So for those who don't know what TikTok is, I want y'all to go back a couple episodes to digital literacy. That's the first thing I want you to do.
Dang.
The second thing I want you to do, so TikTok is a social media app, it's an interactive app. Think it came out 2019. Just a quick story, quick history. At first it initially started off as a little dancing app. I myself was one of those who heavily criticized on it because it was just it was a dancing app for girls to just do whatever, do their little dances. All right. Going further on, it became something where a lot of people become content creators and then just put a plethora of different content, a lot of variety of content. It could be dancing still. It could be how to grow a business. It could be entertainment, video games. It could be other forms of media like movies. Mm-hmm. It could just be memes like TikTok is really the culmination of all of these social media apps we had before, like Vine, Kick, Instagram, Facebook, and then you just put it all into one.
What's Kick?
You never heard of Kick?
I ain't heard of it.
Oh, that's a millennial thing, kind of. It's like a little bit of millennial, a little bit of Gen Z.
Vine, yeah. Kick, no.
That came around at the same time. Vine and Kick was going on around the same time.
Nope.
All right. Anyway, we'll get to that another day. So yeah, so that's basically what TikTok is now.
Really never heard it.
For those who don't know, TikTok recently got banned. I want to say around
The 19th.
the 19th. Thank you. I was about to say a week ago because I won't sure the exact date. It was banned for I think about maybe 12 hours
of brutal pain.
Yeah, about 12 hours. It had a temporary ban. Since then, it's been revived.
Yes, amen.
But there has been a couple of changes made to TikTok, and we don't know how permanent this revival is.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, and you forgot to add that the ban was supposed to take place at 11:59.
It was,
but it happened a little early,
like 8 o'clock or so. Yeah,
yeah. I was outside and I was singing, and now we come to the end of the road. Yeah, it was one of those moments.
I'm sorry, can I just jump in and say this? You guys, y'all, I am sitting here blown away. You remember where you were when it went out, like people remember when JFK was assassinated. Like, where were you when 9/11 happened?
Yes.
Y'all just said, I was standing outside in the yard.
Yes, I was
like this. I was trying to go to another video and it wouldn't move.
You know, it's funny you say that because I was at the kitchen table and I think it was about 8:15 p.m. I was heating up my pizza. I was with my fiance and my little brother. Shout out. And we talked about how life-changing this was. We actually compared it to some like a historical movement. Because, you know, like you said, you know how you know where you're at?
Yeah.
When something big, like life-changing happens?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah, I literally almost cried. Because I was somewhere I really didn't want to be. So I knew TikTok was going to help me through.
Oh, yeah. You were stressed.
So once it happened and people were like, well, you know, TikTok had made a statement that they were going to basically do the ban prior to the ban actually supposed to happen.
Yeah, they did.
People was like, nah, they ain't going to do that. And I was going to call their bluff. And sure enough, them people, they went dark.
Nah, they had it.
I was like, no. So I'm like, trying to, and it was just one video, and then the message kept popping up. So then I'm thinking I'm outsmarting the app and exiting out and going back in.
That thing is gone.
It was gone.
I guess I'm sitting here, and what I am fascinated with, because let me just be honest and be transparent. I am on TikTok. Now, I just got on TikTok maybe a year ago, but I have a pretty robust following on TikTok. I don't know why. To be honest with you, because I'm on TikTok, I don't really know what I'm doing on TikTok. Because to your point, you know, it's real quick snippet of information. And as an Xer, I have this need to elaborate and to, you know, explain and go in depth. Yeah. And so the hardest thing for me with TikTok was that I had to do bite-sized content. Yeah. And I've gotten better. I will say, a lot because of the two that are at the table, because they have really helped me to join, you know, this millennial.
The real world.
The real world. But it's counterintuitive to how I think, right?
Yeah.
But I will say, people lost their minds.
Yes, we did.
People lost their minds, and for different reasons. Now, I'm going to, you know, throw my little perspective out there and then let y'all run with it as far as why this is even a thing. But I will say this, for people in my generation and y'all's generation as well, but entrepreneurs, people, their livelihoods were affected. Absolutely. A lot of people in my generation make good money, content creators, coaches, the TikTok shop. I don't know. I don't understand the TikTok
shop.
I don't understand it.
A lot of money from that TikTok.
I have ordered from it though. I ain't gonna lie.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but people lost a lot of money. Well, I don't. You know, in that time, I won't say that necessarily we can quantify what they lost, but the possibility of it being gone created a lot of stress.
And it's still not over. You know, like I said, this is not a. We don't know if this is a permanent thing or not.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, so, I think they gave it a temporary livelihood of 75 days.
75 days, yeah.
And, you know, to your point, it was people, you know, prior to the ban happening, where some were saying that some of the businesses they started on TikTok. It was one young lady that she had a Turo business that she was operating. And it looked very cool. I was like, oh, I never thought of Turo like that. But she was saying that being that TikTok was her primary source of income, she was going to have to rent her house out and she was going to have to stop doing Turo
What's
because
Turo?
it's an app where you can basically rent cars for a period of time, kind of like a where you go and rent cars from.
Somebody's saying, "Thank you for asking, Dr. M. You're welcome."
Like an enterprise and all that stuff, but they're putting up their own personal cars.
Oh, almost like an Airbnb for cars.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. So they're letting people rent out their cars for however long that they are looking for.
We got right with that before. The B&B days. Yeah.
Yeah, Turo is very convenient and it's cheaper than,
like your typical like rental
enterprises and Hertz and things of that sort.
Turo.
But a lot of individuals, you can tell that TikTok was their bread and butter, and a lot of them said that TikTok paid better than the other social sites.
Oh, wow.
It does.
So, I was like, well, I felt bad for some, but then again, I didn't. And this is where me and Zion was having a conversation where I was like, that shouldn't have been their only source of income. Multiple streams of income. What Dr. M has, always instilled in us, that it shouldn't be one thing that should be your primary source of income. What was it, 7? You should have 7 streams of income. So I'm like, I feel bad, but then again, I don't. It was people that quit their jobs. And I'm like, if I was to get $1 million today, I'm not gonna quit my job. You gotta always have other streams of income. That's how the rich stay rich.
100%.
Is
this my time to join in?
I know you got a rebuttal. Go ahead.
No, it's not.
we were going back and forth
it's
about
not
this
even
for a hot
rebuttal.
second.
So you kept neglecting one key thing I kept saying, right?
Okay, what was it?
I never said that. I agree with you. That shouldn't be your only source of income.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for that to be her primary source of income, yeah. So, okay, let's say she had 3 different sources of income, right?
Mm-hmm.
But TikTok is her primary source of income, where she's making well over 6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot of jobs she's doing, especially she in her 20s, 30s, whatever. There's a lot of these content creators are in that demographic age, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of jobs that's going to be able to match that same income as TikTok, especially if you don't got a college degree, right? Let's just be fair. So I'm not saying that, because what was I getting at? I'm not saying that, for her to have 3 different sources of income, that's cool, but for her to lose TikTok, she's going to have to change her livelihood. That's what I was trying to tell you.
So the semantics is only versus primary. Is that what I'm hearing? Only source of income being TikTok versus primary.
Not necessarily. So she thought I was saying only source of income. I agree there had to be different source of income, but what I was telling her, because, I'm sorry, I got to put you on blast real quick. All right. But when we had this conversation, mm-hmm. you said, well, it's going to be her fault that she's going to have to, change how, blah, 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 blah.
She was living outside of her means. I know exactly what I said.
She wasn't living outside of her means, though, if that was her source of income. That means anybody who gets fired is living outside their means. Like, let's keep it a bean. If she's making 6 figures, and her other 2 sources of income is maybe, say, $40,000, because a lot of that time is devoted to TikTok, right? Okay. If she loses TikTok, mm-hmm. that's the equivalent of losing your primary source of income, your job. Mm-hmm. So if it stays like that, mm-hmm. because TikTok, you can't just go on another social media app and hope to make that same amount of money. Because TikTok's engagement is completely different. The way they fund it is completely different.
Yeah, we just said that.
She's going to have to change her livelihood no matter how many different sources of income she has, no matter how long she saved. Because like I said, TikTok's been out for about 5 years now and counting. Mm-hmm. So regardless, she would have to change her livelihood, and that wouldn't be her fault if the ban stayed, permanent. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead. We're going to let Dr. M.
I'm just going to join it. First of all, let me just say I'm enjoying watching them feed on each other, and because normally I am the person being attacked, and so I enjoy the fact that they're having some banter. And it's here's the point to both of you. Yeah. What you're saying, it speaks to how disconcerting the whole thing is.
Yeah,
the fact that we've got such strong opinions and energy based on it lets you know how crucial this thing is. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, it is it gets now to where we talk about censorship, where we talk about now what I'm going to tell you right now, y'all, and I said to my 2 esteemed colleagues, we're not trying to be political, and I'm going to tell you why I don't think we can be political with this. We don't really know. Correct. Like, I haven't seen any documentation as to what they think is happening with TikTok.
Right.
Nobody has given me that.
Yeah.
So for us to have an opinion, yay or nay, about whether or not there should be this kind of response, what I'm going to say to you is we haven't seen the information. Right. Let me give you an example, y'all, because I can. It's like years and years ago when I used to work in the corrections system, right? And I was a reentry person. So I would actually be working with people that were going to be, released from incarceration and needed to be reintegrated back to society and all this stuff. Love that kind of work. Love working with any kind of vulnerable population is my jam. But what would happen is I would meet with the person, the inmate, the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, hey, how are you doing? And how can I help you? And da, 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 da. And they would start telling me why they were not guilty. And I would get this glazed over look and I'd go, okay, because you want to be respectful. And then they would start telling me the case. Well, what happened? And I would stop them and I would say, we're not going to relitigate the case. Here's why. Because when you finish with all of that, you're going to be here and I'm going to be here. And the circumstance won't change. And I'm going to treat you right regardless. Like, it doesn't matter if you did it or didn't do it. I'm going to treat you with respect because that's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
Now, you're relitigating the case. You're giving me your evidence.
Exactly.
Right.
I wasn't sitting in there to see the opposing evidence or exhibits, right? So even if I was to sit here and allow you to tell me the whole thing, I'm hearing it from your perspective, your side. And you're not giving me the benefit of all of the other information. Right. That's what I would say about TikTok. People really got, in their feelings about it. And people are saying, no, I don't believe it. I don't, I believe it. I don't believe it. And what I'm saying is we're standing on the outside of the information.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. And that's the reason why. Let's come from this perspective. We're going to take this break real quick, but this is what I want us to come back and think about. At the end of the day, we don't understand the politics of it, right?
No, not at all.
But we do understand the economy of it.
Exactly.
Right. And so when we come back, let's talk about how that's playing out with each of us going forward. All right. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Catch the wave of success with Standing on Business with Dr. Melissa. Unlock your purpose, align it with your entrepreneurial spirit, and witness your business thrive. This isn't just about authenticity, it's about building a foundation so solid, your business becomes synonymous with profitability. Tune in as we delve into marketing strategies that work and create an empire that stands on business. Because when purpose meets strategy, success is inevitable. Standing on Business with Dr. Melissa, where authenticity meets profitability.
Okay, so welcome back to What's the Tea with Gen X, Y, and Z. So before the break, we were talking about the demise and then resurrection of TikTok for however long, right? But I do have to go back to this, y'all, because I'm just silly. Zion had said his initial impression of TikTok was not favorable because he thought it was like just a dance app, right? Y'all, I mean, I know we're talking about people making money and all that, but it turns out it's still a dance app. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and hit it right quick for us, Zion. Yeah,
yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Uh-oh.
I think we did it backwards.
We did it backwards.
We just got way too excited doing that. I know.
Listen, y'all. I'm embarrassed to say how many times I've stood in my bathroom mirror and tried to get it right. I can't. But okay. So that's TikTok, y'all. And that was your entertainment for the day.
Amen. We just had fun doing that too.
Please cash app us. Okay. In all seriousness, let's continue this conversation about TikTok. It's a very important conversation. So
absolutely.
What are your thoughts about the impact that TikTok is having on us?
Yeah, well, good point you made before the break was that it's really a social change, it's social and economic change at the end of the day. And it really altered the way people do things, not even just people relying on entertainment, but also people conducting and doing their own content. For example, for those who don't know, TikTok had a lot of linked services apps, including Lemonade, and most importantly for content creators like myself, an aspiring one, CapCut. CapCut was also temporarily unavailable, and there was no due time when it was supposed to come back
Okay.
and operate, and we didn't even know how it was going to operate then, because for those who are familiar with CapCut, well, let me start off. For those who don't know what CapCut is, that is an editing app most content creators use. It has a lot of different, can't think of the word right now, but it has a lot of different things. It has a lot of features. Thank you. A lot of different features that you can use for content. So that definitely was a hindrance for a lot of content creators, including myself. So,
and it talks well with TikTok when doing little dances like.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of templates. There's a lot of templates you can use too, because editing takes a long time. So there's a lot of templates that was linked directly to TikTok, where all you would have to do is just edit the format, edit the text, put your own picture in, and
now I want to go to something what Amber said, because we sort of talked about the business. All I can talk about with TikTok is business, y'all. I'm gonna tell you right now. That's the only reason I'm on TikTok. And when I say business, not just to monetary, it's not that, it's to brand and to the visibility and to talk to my audience, that kind of thing. But you mentioned something. You said you were about to cry when TikTok was gone because you were somewhere you didn't want to be.
Yes.
So what does that have to do with TikTok?
So I use TikTok just to buy time sometimes.
Yeah.
So literally, I just started, posting like my own little videos at the end. I don't know why, but that's just what happened. But I've learned so much from TikTok. Yeah. I've learned how to build stuff, and I ain't saying I'm the most handiest, but.
So is TikTok is responsible for that?
TikTok is responsible. I done learned how to cook, because it's been a long time coming. But like TikTok has really been like an educational source for a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Like if I'm trying to put something together, like clothes wise, shoes wise, or something is going viral, all you have to do is type it in the search engine. 9 times out of 10, somebody did a review on it.
100%.
Okay.
So like 100%. It's really, even with trying to engage with different people, with Instagram and Facebook, it's really about who you know. TikTok, you really meet a lot of different people from a lot of places around the world, and you really interact with them. I don't be knowing some of these people. I be having full-blown conversations with them under these videos.
Yeah, because it's based on similar interests, not just like you said, who you're following, who's following you.
That's what I was going to ask. What's the big difference, you guys, with, let's say, Instagram, which is kind of a short format as well? What's the difference between Instagram and TikTok?
TikTok, it shows you a lot of definitely similar interactions, similar things that they've seen you like. The algorithm, I feel like, is way different on TikTok than it is the different other socials. Like Facebook, of course, is clearly the people that you know and your social circle, your family, your friends. Instagram is kind of sort of like that, but it's more basic.
Yeah.
TikTok is like, I don't know, it's hard to put it in words. Like, TikTok is it.
It's the way the algorithm just pushes out your content. Like, it promotes for engagement.
It's like it know what you want to see before you know. How did it know that I needed the shop for that in the TikTok shop? Like, how? How did it know I need to see that video? Like, it just hit different for me.
You said, now, see.
Well, you do have a mic in your phone. I will say that.
I do know that.
I was getting ready to say, we're going to talk about that further. I promise you, I was having a conversation with my husband about something totally random. And then Facebook it came up, and I was like, what the world? So, but I'm not getting into that.
That is weird and different. But I'm saying, I didn't even speak the words. I was thinking the end popped up.
Oh, I don't know what to tell you that. That's just
oh, now that's spooky.
But because they know all of your interests, like they're able to, I guess, just narrow it down to something. You just so happen to wanted to know that day or see that day.
So let me paint the scary picture. Let's say after 75 days or whatever, we know that it's been resuscitated for a time.
Yeah.
And to your point, is something that you had mentioned. We're not political, but that was something that both sides of the aisle was looking at, delaying the ban.
Yeah.
But let's imagine a day that we wake up and the delay is over and the ban is in full effect and there is no TikTok.
We don't want to think about that.
We have to.
How?
We're asking how do things look going forward?
Yes. How do we prepare? First of all, how does it look? And secondly, because y'all know I'm not a hopes and wishes person, right? You can wish, and that does a lot of things I wish, but then I also work, right? So We know that the ban was upheld by the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
We know that right now this delay of the ban is temporary.
Absolutely.
Something would have to happen for it to remain.
Yeah.
So
We did
what
see that.
happens if it doesn't come back? And number two, what can you do? What can our audience do to prepare for the very real possibility that there is no TikTok?
Yeah, so there's two different groups we be talking to. There's the group who is trying to create content,
Right.
and then there's the group who relies on TikTok for entertainment.
Right.
I'm gonna speak from a content creation standpoint. So, for example, you have my specific age demographic, probably ranging from let's just say 18 to 31. Those are typically streamers. Streamers stream on the platforms Twitch, Kick. I think I heard of something called Party, and these other third party services that probably don't get a lot of traction. TikTok is a very vital app to use if you wanted to grow in your streaming platform. For example, if we talk about Twitch, that's the biggest streaming platform. However, they don't allow for a lot of engagement solely using just that platform.
Mm-hmm.
That's when people rely on TikTok for further engagement. If you look at most of the current streamers, which y'all probably don't nothing about, but if you do look them up, most of those people, they're millionaires, 20-year-old millionaires. And it all started from one viral TikTok clip where people were able to look at their personalities, see that small sample size, and be like, you know what, I want to see an hour of this on your platform, on your streaming platform. So TikTok shutting down permanently, that would affect the upcoming streamers, that would affect aspiring streamers, that would probably affect streamers, I would say the semi-big streamers who can't post clips on TikTok because a lot of people, they don't have the attention span to sit through an hour stream. That's why you have to provide them with short clips saying, okay, that looks funny, that looks cool, I can sit an hour. They need sometimes people almost need a preview of, what you're providing to them. So I would say with that, as well as the existing content creators who just, primarily use TikTok, for those who didn't link their other social media platforms, those who did not take advantage of, growing their YouTube or growing their Instagram, I mean, they'll suffer immensely, Yeah.
So Zion spoke to he painted the picture for what happens if TikTok goes away.
Yeah.
And it was a sad picture, very dark and dismal, and I feel like crying. Amber, speak to, though, because you even talked about it earlier when you talked about the young lady who had put all of her eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
Talk about what it is that people can do. What mindset do we need to have then if TikTok goes away? What are the alternatives? What can we do now to prepare if that's going to happen?
Yeah, kind of like what Zion was said for individuals that do, have monetary things that they get from TikTok. Definitely going on different social sites like Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, promoting those channels and sites.
Right.
So you can, I know it might not be the same as TikTok, but at least getting some kind of, monetization from those sites and, learning how to work them, because sometimes it's not about who you know. Well, it is about who you know. It's also about what you know.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you might not be utilizing the apps to the full working, so you can get monetized in a certain way.
Right.
And talk to other people that, if they sometimes people don't like to give their sauce, but talk to people that is willing to communicate with you to tell you what they did to be able to work the Instagram and Facebook to get a certain amount of money that you want to hope to get one day.
Right.
So
I want to add something more before you start. I would say that certain apps, for example, Instagram might not cater to someone's content preference of content style as TikTok would. If you look at people on Instagram who have a lot of following, a lot of times those are for superficial reasons, like their appearance, maybe a clothing brand, something that's a big business that you could take at face value and already be attracted to. For someone who's trying to build up, make something stable, that's going to be very difficult to do. And like I said, you would have to change your style of content. So TikTok, most people make 30-second to a minute clips. Even TikTok, you can even do 10-minute clips if you really wanted to. Yeah, absolutely. So
I ain't never seen nothing for 10
I
minutes
need
on
to-
TikTok.
I have 10-minute videos. I've seen
Oh,
that
I
before.
I need that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen that. So you had a lot of
I see it,
versatility.
60 seconds.
No, you can get it. It depends what you want. It can go up to it. At least it used to. I don't know that changed recently, but
Instagram
say
is now 3 minutes.
Yeah, TikTok can go up all the way to 10 minutes from what I saw. Sometimes probably even longer. YouTube. So like for example, if I'm a TikToker and I'm trying to transition to another social media platform, like Instagram or YouTube. Instagram might be difficult just because those algorithms are different, because engagement is different. Maintenance might be a lot harder. So I would see a decrease in my income.
Right.
Because Instagram won't be able to push me out the same way as TikTok. A lot of my followers might lose me in the process.
Gotcha.
Of transferring over to apps.
So here's the thing. What's the takeaway? Well, here's where my sage wisdom comes in. Mm-hmm. I haven't had a lot of I don't have a lot of understanding about the algorithm. The conversation is very important, and hearing from the two of you, getting a perspective has been super good, because it helped me understand why people are like losing their minds, right? I was like, oh my goodness, okay. But here's what I would like to leave us with. The only thing that is certain is change, right? And what happens, myself as a content creator as well, I know, Zion's on TikTok, Zadify, he's a TikTok content creator. So I say content creator would be like, I'm doing something. I'm not on that level. I'm not streaming or anything like that. But here's what I'm going to say. Anytime we are, I'm going to say, at the mercy of systems or software or platforms or political agendas or whatever, right? Yeah. We have to be cognizant of the fact that we're a pawn in that game, right? Yeah. And so one of the things that I teach individuals all the time is the importance of understanding the ability to pivot, particularly if you're in business. Listen to me. If you are an entrepreneur, content creator, anything that you're being monetized with or by, if you have not embraced or at least tried to understand the whole process of pivoting, I am telling you, you're just one situation away from it all sort of, blowing up in your face. Yeah. I do teach about having 7 streams of income, and it's not about greed, and it's about not putting all of your eggs in one basket. Yeah. To your point, that TikTok could be your primary basket. Amen. Great. And you made an excellent point. Like, our primary jobs are sometimes but anything could happen with our jobs, right? Yeah. So if you've really made a lot of money on some of these social platforms, that's fine. But to Amber's point with that, you do need to be diverse enough to understand that you need to have something else going on. Right. And here's what I'm going to say, you guys, as we wrap up today's episode. I personally hope TikTok stays. I have 5 figures of followers. So I don't have like 3 followers. I have a nice following on TikTok. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the platform. I enjoy now the process of just being out there, because I understand that social media is really business media. Mm-hmm. It ain't social. If you're on social media just to be social, baby, join the club. And when I say business, it doesn't mean that you have to just have your own business. Right. But if you have a professional, anything you're doing, a professional position, you can market yourself. You can get new jobs. So
you got talent, utilize it.
Yes. So, but I am going to tell you that you, me, none of us have control over what's going to happen with TikTok. Yeah. If we have 75 days, here's what I'm going to say to you, my dear audience. I want you to be thinking about what it looks like if it's not there. Right. This is not about being, people say, I'm optimistic. I am too. I believe and hope for the best, but I always prepare for the worst. And that is just having wisdom to know that we don't have any control. Right? Yeah. What could you be doing? How could you be positioning yourself? It might not be optimal. If you have to go to another platform, it may not do all of the things that TikTok does. One of my tenets in my purposefully method is use what you got. Mm-hmm. What that means is we take what we got and we work it. We make it do what it do. We can't cry over what we don't have. And we can't lament and it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. And at the end of the day, you cry for a minute and you suck it up, buttercup, and then you figure out what's next. But what I would love to see us do is already be thinking about that.
Right.
That we have a great, I think the blessing was that it came back.
Yeah.
I think for those people to say, it's never going to go away. Okay, you can stop saying that because it did go away. So let's stop thinking that it's never going to happen. Yeah, it not only can it happen, it did happen.
Yep.
So now we can get out of that magical thinking. And now we can truly hope, write your people and all of that stuff and make your case known and make the case for why you want it to stay. All of that's great. But then let's be thinking about how do we diversify? How do we go on YouTube or Instagram and make it do what it do?
Exactly.
The stuff that we have out there, the engagement and all that stuff is valuable. Yeah. Let's just, find a way to pivot.
Exactly. Yes. That's the best choice. That's the best thing to do is, optimize these 75 days. Yeah. Post what you can on TikTok, but make sure you're intentional. Every post should be directing your audience to a permanent platform.
Exactly.
Like YouTube or Instagram.
Exactly. Yeah. You can cross promote. You can chew gum and walk at the same time.
Yeah.
You can have a vibrant TikTok community and a vibrant IG community.
Yeah.
And a vibrant Facebook community.
Same content,
with
different
the
sources
same
of income.
All you're doing is changing the specs and changing the ratio and changing the focus. I'm on LinkedIn, so when I do something from my IG, I have to be cognizant when it goes on LinkedIn, I have a different audience. The content of who I am is the same. Yeah, if you're authentic, you are who you are.
Exactly.
What you have to talk about, your value, your expertise will not change.
Exactly.
We just package it differently. That's all. And so let's stop crying about TikTok or let's stop lying about TikTok. Okay?
Either or.
And let's make the pivot. So you guys, let's keep this conversation brewing. I got a feeling this one is gonna brew for a while. Okay. Yeah. Remember, we got to ask questions. We got to listen to understand. And we got to acknowledge the unique challenges that each generation faces. And then we got to look for common ground because trust me, it's there. So until the next time, keep sipping and keep talking. Tune in next week for another thought-provoking and entertaining conversation that's going to bridge the generational gap, one cup at a time. Take care. I'm going to get my nails fixed.